My family forced me to be the unpaid nanny for my sister's triplets and ruined every vacation. When they planned another trip, I bought the beach house they were renting and kicked them out. The text message said, "Can you watch the boys this weekend? Just a few hours." That was the lie. It was never a few hours. It was never just watching them. And this weekend, it wasn't even a question. It was an order disguised as one. I stared at my phone for a solid minute before replying. My sister, Jenny, had been doing this for 3 years. Ever since I graduated college and moved back home to save money, I'd become the unofficial fourth parent to her triplet sons. 7 years old now, endless energy, and absolutely zero respect for boundaries because nobody had ever taught them any. The difference this time was simple. I had options now. She just didn't know it yet. I'm 23. Jenny's 32. Growing up, she was the golden child, and I was basically invisible unless someone needed something. When she got pregnant with triplets at 25, my parents lost their minds with excitement. 3 grandsons at once. Jenny and her husband Bill moved into a house my parents helped them buy. Everything revolved around those kids. When I graduated at 22, I moved back home because I'd managed to avoid student debt by living there through college. My scholarship covered tuition, and working part-time covered my other expenses. I was proud of myself. Thought I'd done everything right. Nobody else seemed to care. The day I walked across that stage, Jenny announced she was throwing the boys a 7th birthday party that same weekend. My graduation dinner became a planning session for a kids' party. That's when the babysitting started in earnest. At first, it was just Friday nights. "We need date night," Jenny would say. It became Saturdays, too. Then random weekdays. My parents would guilt me if I said no. "She's so tired," Mom would say. "Those boys are a handful. You're young and single. You have the energy." Last summer was when everything crystallized for me, though I didn't show at the time. My parents planned this big family vacation to the coast. A week at the beach. They offered to pay for my hotel room, and I figured it would be a nice break. A chance to relax after grinding through my first year at a new job. First red flag. They told me I'd be sharing a room with the triplets. Jenny and Bill got their own room because they need privacy, and the romance keeps a marriage strong. My parents got their own room because they were paying for everything. I got 3 7-year-olds who treated the hotel room like a trampoline park. Second red flag. When I asked about activities, Mom said we'd decide as a family what to do each day. Translation: whatever the boys wanted and whatever Jenny wanted. I mentioned wanting to visit this art gallery I'd been following online. They have local artists, beautiful coastal landscapes, the kind of thing I actually enjoy. Jenny literally laughed. The boys would be bored to death. That's not fair to them. The entire week, I was on kid duty. I had to share a room with 3 children who wouldn't go to sleep until midnight and woke up at 6. Jenny and Bill slept in, went to the beach alone while I watched the kids, and basically had a second honeymoon while I had the worst week of my life. We did exactly one thing I wanted, a 2-hour visit to that art gallery. And Jenny complained the entire time. The boys whined. My parents kept checking their watches. It was made very clear that my preferences were an inconvenience. That night, I lay awake listening to the boys snore and made a decision. I was done being the family servant. But I wasn't going to throw a tantrum about it. I was going to do something smarter. I moved out 2 weeks after we got back. Told everyone it was to cut my commute from 45 minutes to 15, which was partially true. But really, I needed space. I needed to not be on call every Friday night. Jenny hated it. She'd text me constantly. "Can you watch them this weekend? I'll order pizza." The pizza was supposed to be payment. She'd give me $40, 20 for pizza, 20 for my time. I found out later she'd been telling Bill she was paying me $150 a weekend. She'd been pocketing the difference for over a year. But I kept saying yes sometimes because I needed her to think I was still the same pushover. I needed her to not know what I was really doing with my time. See, that job I'd landed right after graduation? It was good, really good. Software development for a mid-sized company, but I'd made connections during my internship. One of my college roommates had started a small tech consulting business and needed help. We started taking on contract work, side projects, nights and weekends. Within 6 months, we built something real. An app that helped small businesses manage inventory and scheduling. Nothing revolutionary, but it filled a gap. We soft-launched it and got decent adoption. Started charging a subscription fee. By month 9, we were pulling in $15,000 a month in recurring revenue. By month 12, it was $30,000. We hired 2 more people. Incorporated properly. I was pulling $75,000 a year from my day job and another $60,000 from the business I'd built in my spare time, while everyone thought I was just sitting around playing video games. I lived in a cheap apartment, drove a 10-year-old Honda, and dressed like I was broke. My parents thought I was barely scraping by. Jenny definitely thought I was broke. That's why she kept offering me pizza money to babysit. Nobody knew I'd saved over $100,000 in 18 months. Then last month, my parents called a family meeting. Over Sunday dinner, the one tradition I still participated in because it gave me intel, Mom announced they were planning another beach vacation. Same place as last year, Dad said, grinning. We had such a great time. I watched Jenny's face light up. She looked directly at me. This'll be fun. The boys are older now, easier to manage. Mom jumped in. We'll cover your room again, sweetie. Same arrangement as last time. Same arrangement. Another week sharing a room with 3 8-year-olds while Jenny and Bill got date nights on my labor. I set down my fork. Actually, I'll drive myself this time, and I'll pay for my own room. The table went silent. Mom blinked. That's not necessary. We're happy to cover it. I know, but I want my own space this time. And I'd like to do some things on my own during the trip. Adult things. Jenny's smile faded. What do you mean, your own things? I mean, I'm 23. I like to enjoy the vacation as an adult, not as a babysitter. Babysitter? She laughed, but sounded forced. Nobody's making you babysit. We're family. We help each other, right? Like last year, when I helped by sharing a room with the boys while you and Bill had privacy? Or when I helped by watching them at the beach while you went to the spa. That kind of helping. Mom's face did this thing where she pressed her lips together. Honey, you knew what the arrangement was. The arrangement where I got one activity I wanted the entire week. The art gallery everyone complained about. Dad cleared his throat. Son, we're trying to keep this affordable for everyone. If we book separate rooms. I have a job. I can afford my own room. I've got a reliable car. I can drive myself. I kept my voice level. Calm. I'm not asking anyone else to change their plans. I'm just saying I'll handle my own accommodations, and I'll join the family for activities when I want to. Jenny's face was turning red. This is ridiculous. You're being selfish. We're supposed to be together as a family, and you're making it all about you. Last year was about the boys. And you. This year, I'd like at least some of it to be about me, too. The dinner ended badly. Mom was crying by dessert. Dad kept saying I was driving a wedge in the family. Jenny stormed out with Bill and the boys without even saying goodbye. Over the next week, Jenny called me 7 times. She left voicemails that went from guilt-tripping to outright hostile. The last one said, I don't know why you're being such an asshole about this. You're young and single. You have no life anyway. The least you could do is help me out. Do you know how hard it is to raise triplets? I'm exhausted. I can't even go out without dragging them along unless someone watches them. But no, you're too important for your family now. I recorded it, saved it, added it to the folder I'd been building. Because here's what nobody knew. That beach town we vacationed in last year, I'd loved it. The art scene, the small business community, the whole vibe. And that app my business partner and I built, we'd recently sold it. Not for millions, but for enough that my cut was $230,000 after taxes. I've been looking at investment properties, and I found something perfect. The house Jenny and Bill rented through Airbnb last year for their privacy. The owner had it listed for sale. It was a small 3-bedroom bungalow 2 blocks from the beach. Needed some work, but the bones were good. Listed at $280, I offered $260 cash, closed in 3 weeks. I owned their vacation rental, and they had no idea, but I didn't tell anyone. Instead, I kept playing the role. I let them think I was being difficult about the vacation plans. Let them think I was just being a bratty younger brother who wanted his own hotel room. My parents tried the keep the peace speech 3 more times. Jenny stopped talking to me entirely. Perfect. Then I did something that would have seemed insane to the version of me from 2 years ago. I posted about it on Reddit, made a throwaway account, kept it vague enough, and asked if I was the asshole for wanting my own space on a family vacation. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of comments. People telling me I was absolutely justified. People sharing their own stories of being the family doormat. People telling me to stand my ground. And within an hour, Jenny found the post. She knew it was me. The details were too specific. She called me screaming. You put our business on the internet? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how embarrassing this is? What's embarrassing? I asked. The fact that everyone agrees you've been treating me like hired help? I'm telling Mom and Dad. Go ahead. She did. Mom and Dad called me that afternoon. They'd read the post. They'd read the comments. Dad kept saying thousands of people like he couldn't process the number. Why would you air our private family issues like this? Mom asked. Because when I tried to talk to you privately, you told me to keep the peace and that I was being selfish. So I asked strangers if I was crazy. Turns out I'm not. The vacation was supposed to be in 3 weeks. For 2 of those weeks, my family barely spoke to me. Jenny sent me a few nasty texts about ruining everything. Mom kept forwarding me articles about the importance of family unity. Then Bill called me. Jenny's husband. We'd always gotten along fine, but he usually stayed out of family drama. Hey man, I need to ask you something, he said. Has Jenny been paying you for babysitting? My stomach dropped. She's been giving me pizza money. $40 here and there. Silence. Then, she told me she was paying you $150 each time. For over a year. I did the math in my head. If she'd told him $150 and given me $40, she'd been pocketing over $100 per session. If I'd watched the boys 40 times in the past year, she's been pocketing about $4,000. Son of a bitch. He sounded more tired than angry. I'm sorry, Mom. I thought she was actually paying you fairly. It's not your fault. Yeah, it is. I should have been paying more attention. Should have stepped in when she kept dumping the kids on you. He paused. For what it's worth, this vacation thing. You're right. Last year was bullshit. You shouldn't have had to share a room with them. That wasn't fair. That conversation changed things. Bill sat Jenny down and made her confess about the money. Made her pay me back from her personal savings account. $4,300 in cash. She looked like she wanted to murder me when she handed it over. Then my parents got involved. Looked at the Reddit post again. Actually read the comments instead of just being embarrassed. Sent me a long email apologizing for enabling Jenny, for treating me like the help, for prioritizing her comfort over mine. But Jenny? Jenny doubled down. She told Mom that I was destroying the family, and that I clearly had no life if I had time to write essays on the internet about our problems. I still didn't tell them about the house, about the money, about anything real. I just kept letting them think I was scraping by as a junior developer with an attitude problem. 2 days before the trip, Jenny called me. I'm sorry, she said, and it sounded like the words physically hurt her. Bill made me realize I've been not great to you. I shouldn't have taken you for granted. Okay, so we're good? You'll come on the vacation? We can share the hotel like normal. I'm still getting my own room. She hung up on me. The day of the vacation arrived. I left early, 9 a.m. instead of waiting for the family caravan. Drove my 3 hours to the coast, pulled up to my house, and smiled. My house, that I owned, that I'd been renovating for the past month through a local contractor. I didn't check into any hotel. I unlocked my front door and walked into my living room. The place looked incredible. New paint, refinished floors, updated kitchen. The contractor had finished 2 days ahead of schedule. I sent a group text. Made it. Going to check out some galleries. See you guys for dinner. My phone exploded with confused messages. Where was I staying? Why wasn't I at the hotel? I ignored them. I spent the day doing exactly what I wanted. Toured galleries. Had lunch at a restaurant I'd been wanting to try. Bought art from a local painter. An original piece that cost $800 and was worth every penny. I was hanging it in my living room when my phone rang. Dad, where are you? We're checked into the hotel. Your mom's worried. I'm good. I'll meet you guys for dinner at that seafood place at 6. But where are you staying? How about a place? Don't worry about it. Dinner was tense. Jenny kept asking where I was staying. I kept deflecting. Just a rental I found. One of my own space, like I said. Is it near our hotel? Close enough. She didn't like that answer. Over the appetizers, she tried her old tricks. Hey, could you watch the boys tomorrow morning? Bill and wanted to go on a whale watching tour, and the boys would just get seasick. No. What? I said no. I'm here to vacation, not babysit. Mom jumped in. Honey, it's just a few hours. Mom, with all due respect, that's how it started last time. A few hours became all day, every day. I'm not doing it. Jenny's face went red. You're unbelievable. After everything our parents have done for you. You mean letting me live at home while I went to college? Dad, didn't Grandpa let you do the same thing? Dad nodded slowly. Yeah, he did. So that's just what parents do. It's not a debt I owed Jenny. Dinner continued awkwardly. Jenny barely spoke to me. The boys kept asking why I was being mean. Bill kept giving me these apologetic looks. The next morning, I toured more galleries. Had coffee at a local roaster. Read a book on the beach. It was perfect. Around noon, my phone rang. Jenny, where are you? The beach. What? I need you to come to the hotel. The boys are driving me crazy, and Mom's not feeling well, and Bill had to go take a work call. So ask Dad. Dad want to get groceries. Please, I'm begging you. No. She started crying. Why are you doing this to me? What did I do that was so terrible? I almost felt bad. Almost. You turned me into unpaid labor for 3 years. You pocketed money that was supposed to be paying me. You ruined the last vacation by making me share a room with your kids. And when I said I wanted something different this year, you called me selfish and told me I have no life. I apologized. You apologized because Bill made you. And then you asked me to babysit again 2 hours later. You haven't changed, Jenny. You just want me to go back to being convenient for you. She hung up. 20 minutes later, Mom called. Please, just a few hours. She's overwhelmed. Then she should hire a babysitter. Or Bill should help. Or you should help. I'm not responsible for her kids. Mom started crying too. You're tearing this family apart. I'm setting boundaries. If that tears the family apart, the family was already broken. I hung up and turned off my phone. Spent the rest of the day in peace. That evening, I turned my phone back on 17 missed calls and 32 texts. Most were from Jenny, ranging from guilt-tripping to hostile. A few from Mom asking me to be the bigger person. One from Dad, saying we needed to talk. I drove to the hotel for family dinner. While I walked into the lobby, Jenny was sitting there, waiting. She stood up when she saw me. We need to talk. Okay, where are you staying? I want to know. You're being so secretive, and it's weird. I rented a house. What house? Show me. Why? Because I want to know. Her voice was rising. People in the lobby were looking. You're acting like you're too good for us now. Driving yourself, getting your own place, refusing to help with your own nephews. What's your problem? And there it was. The core issue. In Jenny's mind, I was still supposed to orbit around her life. My plans, my money, my time, it was all supposed to be available to her when she needed it. My problem, I said quietly, is that I'm not your backup childcare anymore. I'm not your convenience. I'm my own person with my own life, and I'm done pretending I don't deserve my own vacation. You have no idea how hard my life is. You're right, I don't. Because I don't have kids. That was your choice to make, and it's not my responsibility to manage. She tried to follow me to the restaurant, arguing the whole way. Bill eventually pulled her aside and made her stop. Dinner was awful. The boys kept asking questions. Jenny wouldn't look at me. Mom kept sniffling. Dad looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. After dinner, Jenny cornered me in the parking lot. I know you're staying somewhere nice. You've been weird about money lately. Did you get a promotion or something? Something like that. Must be nice. Meanwhile, I'm trapped in a hotel room with 3 8-year-olds while you get to do whatever you want. You could have gotten a sitter. We can't afford a sitter for a week. But you could afford to pocket $100 every time you lied to Bill about paying me. Her face went white, then red. That's not. Bill told you? Yeah, he told me. She tried to say something, couldn't, and just walked away. I went back to my house, poured a drink, and sat on the back deck watching the sunset. This was what vacation was supposed to feel like. The next day, everything came to a head, and I finally played the card I'd been holding. We'd planned a family brunch, all of us at this nice restaurant overlooking the water. I showed up on time. Everyone was already there, and the tension was thick enough to cut. Mom tried to start with small talk. How was everyone sleeping? Were the boys enjoying the beach? Jenny cut her off. I want to talk about the elephant in the room. She pointed at me, ruining this entire vacation by refusing to participate like a normal family member. I've been at every family meal, I said calmly. I went to the aquarium yesterday with everyone. I'm here right now. But you won't help with the boys. Correct. See, she looked at our parents. He admits it. He's being selfish. Dad sighed. Jenny, we talked about this. He's not required to babysit. But he's family. Family helps each other. You mean family helps you? I said. When's the last time you helped me with anything? You never need help, right? Because I handle my own life. Like an adult. Jenny stood up, her chair scraping loudly. Other diners were looking now. You think you're so much better than me now. Ever since you moved out, you've been acting like you're too good for us. Well, guess what? You're not special. You're just a kid with an entry-level job who got lucky. And there it was. The perfect opening. I've been waiting for something like this. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and turned the screen toward her. Entry-level job. Right. She squinted at the screen. I watched her face as she processed the number. The savings account balance. $173,000. Her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. That's what. I built a business, I said simply. While you thought I was wasting my time, I was building something. We sold it last month. This is my cut after taxes, minus what I spent on a house. A house? Mom whispered. Yeah, here in town, actually, 2 blocks from the beach. Dad was staring at me. You bought a house? Cash offer. Closed 3 weeks ago. Jenny found her voice. You bought a house. Here. And you didn't tell us? Why would I? So you could ask me to let you stay there for free? so you could turn my investment property into your personal vacation home. Her face went through several colors. You've been lying to us. I've been private. There's a difference. We're family. You don't keep secrets from family. Really? Like how you kept it secret that you were pocketing Bill's babysitting money. Like how you told mom and dad I was happy to help with the boys when I'd explicitly told you I wasn't. That's different. Ow. She couldn't answer. Bill was looking at her with this expression I couldn't quite read. Disappointment, maybe. Mom and dad were silent. You know what the really sad part is? I continued. I would have been happy to have a normal relationship with you. I love being an uncle. I like spending time with the boys when I'm actually their uncle, not their babysitter. But you couldn't see me as anything except free labor. Even now, after everything, you're not mad that you hurt me. You're mad that you can't use me anymore. Jenny's eyes were welling up. That's not. I don't. Do you even know anything about my life? Do you know what I do for work? What I'm interested in? What my goals are? She just stared at me. Right. Because you've never asked. Because in your mind, I'm just the kid brother who exists to make your life easier. I stood up, pulled out my wallet, and left enough cash on the table to cover my portion of the bill. I'm going to finish enjoying my vacation. You guys have a good rest of your trip. Wait, Dad said. Son, let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. I set a boundary. Jenny couldn't respect it. That's all this is. I walked out of that restaurant, got in my car, and drove to my house. My phone started ringing immediately. I turned it off. For the next 2 days, I lived my life. Toured galleries. Met with a local property management company about potentially renting out the house when I wasn't using it. Had dinner at amazing restaurants. Read books on the beach. It was the vacation I should have had last year. On the final day, Dad showed up at my house. I don't know how he found it. Probably asked around town until someone knew which properties had recently sold. He knocked on the door at 10 a.m. I almost didn't answer. But he's my dad. I opened the door. Nice place, he said, looking past me into the living room. Thanks. Can I come in? I stepped aside. He walked through slowly, taking in the renovations, the art on the walls, the view from the back deck. You did good, son. Thanks. I owe you an apology. He sat down on the couch without asking. Your mom and we got comfortable treating you like Jenny's assistant. It was easier to ask you to help than to deal with her complaining. And that wasn't fair. I sat down across from him. No, it wasn't. We should have stuck up for you more. Should have told her to figure out her own childcare. Should have made last year's vacation actually fair. He rubbed his face. We failed you. Yeah, you did. She's struggling to process all this. Finding out you're successful, that you've been doing well and just didn't tell anyone. It made her feel small, I think. That wasn't my intention. I know, but that's how she took it. She spent this whole trip thinking you were being difficult just to be difficult. Finding out you actually have the money to do your own thing, that you've built something real, it made her realize she doesn't actually know you at all. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Dad said, she needs therapy. Bill told her that if she doesn't get help dealing with her control issues and her resentment toward you, he's going to separate from her. That surprised me. He said that. Last night, after you left the brunch, Jenny had a full breakdown, crying, saying nobody loves her, that everyone's against her. Bill finally snapped and told her she needed professional help. How'd she take that? She's agreed to it. They're finding a counselor when they get home. He looked at me. Will you give her a chance? If she actually gets help and changes? If she actually changes, sure. But I'm not holding my breath. Dad nodded. Fair enough. He stayed for another hour. We talked about the business I'd built, about my plans for the house, about my life in general. It was the first real conversation we'd had in years. When he left, he hugged me and said he was proud of me. That helped. A little. I ended up staying an extra 2 days after my family went home. Just me, my house, and the beach. It was perfect. When I got back home, Jenny didn't contact me for a week. Then Bill called and asked if we could get together for a beer. I met him at a bar near my apartment. She started counseling, he told me, twice a week. The therapist already identified a bunch of stuff. Resentment about you being born when she was 9 and suddenly not being an only child, control issues from feeling overwhelmed as a mother, entitlement from years of our parents enabling her. That tracks. She's got a long way to go. But I think she's finally understanding that she can't treat people like servants just because she's tired. He paused. I'm sorry I didn't step in earlier. I should have been paying more attention to what she was asking you to do. Not your fault, man. It kind of is. I'm her husband. If I'd been more involved with the kids instead of working late all the time, she wouldn't have needed so much help to begin with. We talked for a while longer. He told me they'd hired a regular babysitter, that he'd cut back his hours at work to be home more. That Jenny was slowly coming to terms with the fact that she couldn't have the life of someone without kids, while also having 3 kids. A month later, Jenny texted me. A real apology. Not the forced kind from before. She acknowledged being controlling, entitled, and dismissive of my life. Said she'd spent years resenting me without even realizing it. Asked if we could start over. I thought about it for a few days. Then I agreed to lunch. Just the two of us. It was awkward at first, but she'd changed. She asked about my work, my life, what I was doing with the beach house. I actually listened to the answers. She didn't ask me to babysit once. At the end of lunch, she said, I saw what you posted on Reddit. I read all the comments. Yeah, people really hated me. She laughed but sounded sad. I deserve it though. Everything they said was true. I was using you. I did treat you like the help. And I'm sorry. I know. Is there any chance? I mean, can we be actual siblings? The kind who have a relationship that isn't about me needing something from you. I'd like that. And slowly, over the next few months, we built something new. She came to my apartment for dinner, without the kids. We went to a museum together because she wanted to understand why I liked art so much. She even asked for my advice on something in her life, which had literally never happened before. My parents and I rebuilt our relationship too. They started treating me like an adult instead of Jenny's assistant. Mom stopped with the keep the peace speeches. Dad and I started having regular lunches where we actually talked. The beach house became my sanctuary. I go there once a month, sometimes more. I've had it listed as a short-term rental for the weeks I'm not using it, and it's booked solid. Turns out owning property in a tourist town is a good investment. Last month, Jenny asked if she could rent it for a week. I want to pay you, she said. Market rate. I want us to have a real vacation as a family, but I want to do it right this time. I said yes. She paid me $1,500 for the week. They stayed there with the boys, hired a local babysitter for 2 nights so she and Bill could go out, and apparently had a great time. She sent me photos of the boys on the beach, having the time of their lives, and a selfie of her and Bill at dinner, both of them actually smiling. Thank you, her text said, for not giving up on me, for setting boundaries even though it was hard. I'm sorry it took me so long to grow up. I'm not saying everything's perfect now. Jenny still has her moments. My parents still sometimes fall back into old patterns. But it's better. So much better. And the best part? I get to be an uncle now. The fun uncle who takes the boys to art galleries and teaches them about creativity, who plays with them at the beach, who's actually part of their lives, but on my terms, when I choose because I want to be there. Not because anyone can force me anymore. Last week, my parents called with news. They're planning another family vacation. This time, they asked what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, what would make me happy. I suggested we all rent my beach house together. Split the cost. Actually vacation as equals. Everyone agreed. This time, I think it'll actually be fun.
New stories every day. You know where to find me.